Hey friends, I'm Naomi from EJ's Fun Crafting. Welcome back to another video in my series on sublimation without a sublimation printer. Sublimation is so simple, even kids.
This is Craft Lady! What did you do?
Even though this is a simple process, I want to make sure that we're being super safe and that adults are always supervising whenever doing any kind of project, especially something involving heat like sublimation does. Okay. The other thing is that you want to make sure you have plenty of circulation going on in your room, because when sublimation is actually a chemical process. It turns the ink into a gas, which is what causes it to bond with whatever surface that you're putting your design on. So let's go ahead, now that we have the safety out of the way, and let's get going with our project for today. This is a super easy project, like most of the projects that I do, but it's so cool. We're gonna be decorating a glitter mug. Now this is a sublimation mug. It can't just be any glitter mug. This one is from PYD Life. It's a pink glitter mug, and so it's got a sublimation coating on it. So you can use the pink glitter mug, you can use any sublimation mug, plain white, even the clear sublimation mugs will work, okay? As long as they're sublimation. So we're gonna use your sublimation mug, and because I'm using pink, I'm gonna be using a design that is actually black, okay? We're gonna be using it because something like this, it looks best. Your design is gonna look best with something that with a high contrast, like I said, like black. So a lot of colors on here aren't gonna show up great, so that's why we're gonna use something black. We're gonna be using this print. It is Infusible ink sheet from Cricut, and this one is called Black Botanicals. I really like the way it looks, and I think, I haven't tried it yet, but I think it's gonna look pretty cool when we put it on this mug, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna need this. Your Infusible ink sheets also come with some butcher paper in there. You're gonna need that because we're gonna wrap it around to protect our mug. You're gonna need your heat source. You're gonna need a pair of scissors, something to measure with, and I'm gonna be using my cutter, okay? My paper cut, my paper trimmer. So this is so easy. Let me show you how easy this is. The first thing I'm gonna do is measure my mug, okay? This is so I can know how big I wanna cut my design to wrap around there. So with my tape measures are really cool. I always have one on hand. From top to bottom, I have about 3.5 inches. And if I go around, I'm not gonna include underneath here because this is a simple project, okay? So I'm gonna go from handle to handle, and I have about 9.5. So we're gonna cut my paper to be 3.5 by 9.5, okay? So let's go ahead and take this. So you can use scissors, or you can use, like I'm using here. So we're gonna do 3.5 by 9.5. Let's go ahead and cut the 9.5 first on this end. There's 9.5, and then I want this to be 3.5 inches wide. For my heat press, I am using my Walmart mug, auto mug press. Let me cut this to 3.5. I want to make sure it's a straight edge. And what I do, I just turned it on and I let it heat up. It says itself according to the ambient room temperature, but I always let it heat up at least 5 minutes. Now, this part is cool to the touch, but inside is going to be really hot, so you don't want to put your hand inside of there at all. So let's cut my 3.5 inches here. Just to make sure I got it. This is curved up because it's been wrapped up. And then with my Infusible ink, I'm going to put it back into the box. There's a black plastic case that it comes in, whole plastic bag. You're gonna put it back inside of the plastic bag and then put it back into the box, okay? This is ready. Now, the hardest part, if it's been rolled up, you might wanna kinda roll it the opposite way to make it easier to put on, okay? Flatten it out a little bit. I'm gonna put that on top. I'm gonna grab my lint roller. I'm gonna roll this, okay? I'm gonna lint roll this, just to take off any dust, any debris that might be on there, any lint. Next, I'm gonna take my design. This is fine. This is such a pretty design. I wanted to see what it would look like by itself without cutting anything out, which is really cool for a child to do. A child wants to just transform something, throw on a piece of infusible ink pattern paper. So I'm gonna line this up like I want it on my cup, on my mug. Put it kind of in the middle there. And then I'm gonna grab my tape and my heat tape. Because gotta make sure you're using heat tape. Your heat resistant tape. And I'm taping it under the handle. I'm gonna go up right here because I want this to make sure it stays tight, okay? And then I'm gonna do the same on the bottom part. Here, and with the corner here. Okay, so the next step, I need to grab a piece of protective paper or a piece of butcher paper to put around the outside of here to help hold it even more. I really don't need it, honestly, because of the infusible ink, the liner that I have on my infusible ink sheet. But just because it's good practice to do, I'm gonna go ahead and show you how to do that now. I'm gonna just cut a strip of protective paper. I'm going to put that around. I want to make sure it's not too... Okay, I can fix that in a minute. Oops. I'm going to cut this here and then across the top here. Now I'm going to wrap this around here. Again, to protect, this is to protect the inside of my press. Infusible ink sheet, you don't need it. But this is, if you're not using infusible ink sheet, say you're using just sublimation paper or plain copy paper, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure you have this around the outside to protect it, okay? My press is ready. If you have any kind of, you can use any mug press, but you will need a cup press or a mug press for this, or sublimation oven. I'm gonna put it in with the handle out, put it to the side, and then I'm gonna press it to get it started. Okay, and then it's going to go ahead and do its thing. It's gonna work, and we'll come back after it's done and I'll show you the results. Our mug is ready. It opened up, and now it's time for the big reveal. I'm gonna take it out. I'm using a heat glove because it will be, the handle is not hot, but when I put my hand against the back of it, it does get hot, so I want to make sure. I'm going to carefully peel. Again, adult supervision is required. Kids should not be touching this hot equipment at all. Oh man, this is going to be pretty. Again, when you're using like this glitter mug, I'm going to turn this off. Something that's glittered like this, it's best not to have a lot of colors, or because your ink is not going to transfer well. You're not going to show, it's not going to show up. On a white mug, any ink will look good though. So I'm taking off the tape. Hurry up, Miss Craft Lady. Oh my goodness. Look how beautiful that design is. And all I did was use a piece of infusible ink. Now, you can see here I've got ghosting, but I think that looks okay. And this is pretty. As pretty as that. Now you've got a gift. You can make a gift tag to go with it. Anything that you want. You can use it for yourself, and you are good to go. Simple as that. Something so simple even a kid could do when it comes to just wrapping it. Again, we want to be careful when it comes to the actual process of the sublimation because we want to be safe always. Thank you for joining me in this video, in this tutorial on how to use an infusible ink sheet along with a sublimation mug in order to make a really cool mug without even having to use a sublimation printer or your cutting machine. I hope you've joined me in my next video where we keep on bringing crafting to the classroom and back. Have a good one.